another topic, and I will be talking about ride and die. I guess that's the term that this generation use to be like, I'm a ride or die chick. I'm a ride or die, man and stuff like that. But I used to not like that term, ride or die, because I even had people from my past to be like, if you down for me, you gonna ride or die. And I'm like, why we gotta die? Where we riding to? Where we going? How we gonna get there? If I'm dying in the midst and I fall off of the motorcycle, the moped, or whatnot and stuff. So one time I actually kind of told this person that I was dealing with at the time. I think I told him, if I believe. No, I actually did say. I think I did tell him. I said, why we just can't fly? And I actually told him, I said, I don't like that ride or die. I said, we're going to have to come up with something, better than that. So, it's this movie called Love Jones. So that's what I have in front of you. And I love that movie. That's like uh, one of my best, movies that I like, that I grew up on. And I like the poetry that she said, because I'm a spoken word artist, and my spoken word artist name is Charisma. And I was like, I see myself on the stage, bearing my heart and my soul, for this guy. So she's on the motorcycle and she's riding. And I had a chance to ride on the back of a motorcycle, last year. That was like one of my dreams that I always wanted to do. So I was actually able to accomplish that. That was like from my bucket list. So it was fun. It was like exhilarating. I was just like, wow. And the wind was just blowing my hair. And I loved that. And I was like, I'm going to have to do this again. But anyway, but it just reminds me, like I said, ride and fly. And the person again that I was dealing with, he was like, together we can fly. And not to get into more in debt in that, because I'm an open book, but I'm kind of like a closed book, but I am transparent. But he was like, together we can fly, and I believe he was saying together we can fly with God, as God deal with us individually for us to come back together again. So I was like, and then FLY is also the acronym for to first love yourself. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, I like that. So I was like, instead of just ride or die, we going to ride and fly. We going to fly, towards the sky, towards, God, to make this, a reality. And the person that I'm speaking, about, things, happen. And if you listen to my video right before this one, it was saying God in the center to enter, and it was saying devil in the middle to do evil. So listen to that in its entirety. But it kind of led me to, like I said, the ride or fly. Sometimes things come to break us apart, or sometimes, like I said, riding this motorcycle, sometimes you have to come to a stop. You have to come to a yield. You have to determine to turn left or to turn right to take this journey with this person. And things happen. Sometimes you're going to have obstacles to come in to kind of get you off course. And I feel like that's how it was of me and this particular person, that we kind of got off course. So again, with that FLY, the first love yourself, we had to take that time to love our own self individually, to be stronger in order to fly together. So, right now I'm just putting that, to God, in the sky for us to be able to, to fly. But in the meantime, with this first loving yourself, I had to go back to love me. I had to go back to allow God to love me. I had to allow God to work on my future spouse. I think I saw on social media there's like happy life, happy wife, but it's not even always about us. It's about, happy spouse, happy house. You're going to come into, detours in life, but we have to stay the path. We have to stay the course. Sometimes in our mind, it's like for us to, I guess, what I'm trying to say, I guess I'm kind of trying to say is that we have it mapped out in our mind. Like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take this turn, this right, make this left, make this left, make this right. But sometimes it's not how we want it to be. Sometimes we have to allow God to be that GPS, which is God pointing straight. We have to allow God, to be that blueprint, like a map, to be able to have that ear to hear, to be able to listen and to be silent, to hear what way for us to go. And then sometimes we have to just step out on faith, as well, because, the word faith is an I, and I myself had to step out on faith to be able to ride this life, ride this out, ride the things that come my way in this life, to ride it out, and to be able to for it to come together, I can say. So, like I said, I'm just being, transparent. But if I have given a chance to get back on the back of a motorcycle, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I actually have a video of me and this particular person on the back of the motorcycle, and he didn't even know I was filming. So I end up putting it as a video, as a memory between us, to be like, this was our mirror, this was our memory, just to hold together, because at that time, last year, it was fun, and I hope to do it again, but like I said, in God's time, and whatever. So I feel like watching some old school movies. Another one I like was Brown Sugar. Another one, it's a couple of movies that I like, but this is not the fantasy fairy tale. Sometimes I felt like my love life was my own movie, that I even decided one day to put it into like a script, or to put it into a book, which I am already an author and a poetess. I wrote my book and things that led up in my story, but it's allowing me to learn the lessons, the mistakes I kept on making with different, individuals. And in this year right now, I'm trying to get it right. I'm tired of doing it my way. I want to do it God's way. I want to put God in the center to enter. So that's what I'm on, right now. But God is still writing my love story, and when that story come into fruition, I'll come back, on here and be able to tell my story from, past, present, and future. But right now, I'm just living in the moment. I'm just, getting ready. I'm just taking it one day at a chance for God to continue to work on me and through me. All right. So another thing too, DMX. Stop, drop, roll. I love that song too. So it's like I love me some DMX. I guess I kind of got like a hood playlist. I could be R&B 1 minute, I could be rap, I could be 70s, 60s. I mean, I like different types of genre of music, and been open to different types of music, as well. But DMX, rest his soul. But sometimes even with his song, it's like we have to stop, we have to drop, and we have to roll, this life out that's in front of us. So until then, ride and fly, and not die, but fly. So first, love yourself. Hashtag Christmas Speaks. Hashtag Living Life Lessons. Peace.